but the satisfaction of the work was not there. So, and that keeps on pondering with me. And the whole time he had Ramayana that used to come up on the TV. Correlate physics, astrophysics about, the universe.
Some sort of achievement in that nirvana state where your mind is in perfect balance with your body.
The first and the foremost thing is to keep your mind empty. So don't get attached to the work, what you do. Like he said, a yoga teacher comes to my place and teaches me and my wife yoga. So that thing was stuck me.
Hello from Bangalore, India. I'm your host, Pamela, and you're tuned into Transition Story. Join us as we listen into inspiring tales from our guests, glean valuable learnings, and take action to apply them to our daily lives. Today's episode is incredibly special to me as I have the honor of welcoming Niranjan, who is a remarkable figure in the realms of fitness and mindfulness. With an undergraduate degree in science and a postgraduate degree in management, Niranjan started his career with his father's NBFC, finally moving on to marketing roles and sales roles in insurance companies like Religare and Max Bupa. As he approached his 40s, Niranjan discovered a deep passion for yoga. This newfound interest led him to pursue multiple certifications and finally doing a postgraduate program in yogic science. His dedication to promoting physical and mental fitness has established him as a true champion of yoga. It's a privilege to have Niranjan on this show, especially as he embarks on his next journey of pursuing a PhD in yogic science. I'm thrilled to dive into his inspiring journey and transition from a corporate career into the world of yoga. Please join me in welcoming him to the show. Welcome to the show, Niranjan. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you, Pamela. It's a pleasure and honor to be here and have a chat with you.
Thank you for sparing the time, first of all, because I know you're a very, very busy person. My first question would be, Niranjan, tell us a little bit about your early childhood. How did it all start? How did your life begin? Tell us a little bit about your family.
The childhood I feel the childhood should never end. And the childhood is one of the beautiful phases of human life. And my childhood was nothing different from that. From being a very naughty and a very playful child, and no restrictions or no inhibitions from the family, my parents, and no restrictions in any sense, to play or to have friends and to go out anywhere to different activities. And say I was the first one to be present, eagerly waiting for every other friend to arrive, and the last one to leave the ground and go home. And again waiting after some time till some time, somebody turns up, hoping somebody would turn up again to play, and going home again and finding play in all the aspects, whether at school, at home, while playing with friends, everywhere. A good and happy and healthy childhood, you can say I had. And still some aspect of the childhood are there in my character that was very in this way.
So it was a foundation of a very supporting family who never stopped you from doing what you wanted to do. And at that point, playing was the most important priority.
Yes, priority in the sense that was the natural thing that comes with every child, and that has to come.
Yes, absolutely. Do you allow your son to do the same thing now?
Yes, I allow, with slight apprehensions from the other family members, but I do allow.
Nice, very nice. You're giving him back something which you experienced as a child. So,
Yes.
Niranjan, I understand that you joined your father's business in the very beginning, and then you went on to build a very stable corporate career with the insurance companies. What happened? What triggered the decision to move to something so diverse like yoga?
Now, see, as I mentioned, there was no innovations from my parents, whether what stream to choose, what liking, for example, most of the parents have you be a engineer, you be a doctor, or you have any XYZ kind of profession to choose. But my parents did not have that. They gave me the freedom to choose the career, to choose a stream where I need to study and what to do in future, whether to, be a self-employed or to get employed somewhere. So I choose the studies or the stream which I like the most. So after completing my basic education, I choose physics to study. That was my liking. And with a slight spiritual aspect, since I belong to a joint family, I grown up with my grandparents as well. So a slight spiritual inclination was there. So I could correlate physics, astrophysics about, the universe, the formation of the universe, the known or the human bodies, So I chose physics, that was my interest, and pursued post-graduation in physics. And, I joined my family business because at that point of time, my family business was going good. And there was no, as such need to have a separate earning or, to depend on my earning. So I joined my family business, that was my father's business. It was a finance company in NBFC. So he was an architect by profession, but he moved into the finance company. So I joined in. He went on very well for a few years, and due to some unavoidable circumstances, we have to close down the business, family business, point of the business. And, there was that point of time there was a pause in my life. I did not know what to do. Then I got myself employed, being an MBA in marketing. So I got myself employed. I had a good career in many corporates which I have worked with. But over the years, I felt there was something missing. The work I feel should be such that you get up in the morning and feel like going to work, or you plan your work one day prior before you go to sleep. And the next day you work and you are ready to go, or you're ready to do read what you have so. But that kind of satisfaction or that kind of inclination towards the corporate life was not there. It was a very monotonous life, running about the unknown things or satisfying the unknown egos or, XYZ, whatever things are there. But the satisfaction of the work was not there. So, and that keeps on pondering with me for quite a lot of time. Of course, that was a good career I had. I enjoyed my corporate career. But with the corporate career come many things, the social habits, the disliking towards many things, and not giving enough time to the family, not giving enough time to your health, not having a good healthy habits. So I wanted to move out to something, but where to go, what to do in a good healthy career in a corporate life, I was not able to fix it out. So I took a couple of years to think about it. Here, छोड़ क्या करे? But what next? So, right from the beginning, from my childhood, I was slightly inclined towards the healthier aspects on the spiritual way. So, my grandmother was not very healthy, and she passed away at the age of 98 without any medical ailment.
Just 2 years short
So
of
she was
century.
not even a single tablet she used to have. So she used to teach me a couple of asanas. Niranjan, do this kind of asana. This is good for your stomach. This is good for your mind. So, and I had a slight inclination being in the joint family and the pujas and everything used to come up at home. So, to have inclination about the Vedas, the Upanishads, you can say, I just cite an example. In the court time, we had Ramayana that used to come up on the TV. And that Ramayana is the Rams and the gods used to, shoot up with an arrow. And that arrow had some flares in that, and they used to destroy something. So it's my grandmother. How come that, they shoot an arrow and that different kind of, popping up the sounds or different colors, and the chandani used to come from there. Exactly, that are the siddhis that the gods, get when they do tapasya. So said, what amount of tapasya is required to do that kind of thing? Say around 12 years, you do tapasya, you do meditation, you follow the rituals and the thing. So that fascinated me a lot. How the thing come to my mind. At one point of time in my corporate life, I had a pause. Pause that went on for a couple of years, And how it changed, how I moved to yoga. That is a design by myself. I just, be an actor in that. So I was taking my son to a dance class, and I was standing out waiting for him to come out of his dance class. So I happened to meet my friend. So he said, Niranjan, how are you doing? I said, I'm doing great in my, going in the morning, coming at night, working all through the time. And it's a good career that I am building. He said, what do you do as an exercise? I said, nothing I do as an exercise. And he said, a yoga teacher comes to my place and teaches me and my wife yoga. So that thing struck me. Oh, it is a good thing a yoga teacher visits your home and teaches you yoga and takes care of your health, mental and the physical health. So as it was corresponding to my inclination. So I pondered over this thought about being a yoga teacher and how I can take it forward from there. I did a lot of research, and one fine day I landed up at Yoga Institute, Santa Cruz, and inquired about how to pursue a career as a yoga. So that they guided me in a good way. And the next day I went to my office and put on my papers. So that's how I suddenly jumped from one place to another.
Okay.
But going ahead was a difficult thing. The corporate, my bosses and the management tried to change my decision. And they used to say, you pursue both the careers at one time. You can be a yoga teacher, you teach yoga in the morning, you teach yoga in the evening, come to office, but you want to give your, a good corporate career which I'm into. But I said I will not step upon two stones at one time. So let me focus on my inclination and pursuit. So that's how the yoga started.
Okay. So what I heard, Niranjan, is you essentially pursued something about which you felt very strongly because of your
Hmm.
upbringing with your grandmother, those
Hmm.
spiritual interventions that you had in your life, knowing a little bit about religion, knowing a little bit about meditation, tapasya, as you mentioned. For our listeners, if you are not from India, then tapasya actually means that you're sitting and meditating, pursuit of some sort of achievement, that nirvana state where your mind is in a perfect balance with your body. So you were inclined, and as you rightly said, jo jab hona hota hai hoga, which essentially means it's like Murphy's law. What has to happen will happen. And in your life, it had to happen in that way. And you did not listen to any of your peers or your bosses who tried to talk you out of this decision of completely quitting the corporate career, because you strongly felt that if you pursue this with focus, only then it will take you somewhere. Right. So after yoga, you did all your certifications. You learned the entire science and the art of the practice. How did you start monetizing it? What was that opportunity that presented itself in front of you when you got your first break, and then you were able to really create a full-fledged business out of it?
Yes, so I will think, as I said earlier, it is a design and we just fall into places. So to complete the knowledge about yoga, yoga is not just anything you go and put 30 as a physical exercise. It is a health in itself. It is a way of life in itself. So we are working on the diseases. We are working like a doctor to treat the patient, or maybe physical or maybe a mental aspect. We need to be equipped with the knowledge, the correct knowledge about the human body, the disease, how what disease occurs, how a disease should be cured, what all things, a person should follow in their life. Not about just as exercise or the pranayams and the meditation, but it's a way of life that has to be followed. So after gaining the proper knowledge, that took a couple of years to gain, and I was without any income during those periods of time. But had to support with my wife and my father, who was the first person to say upfront, you go ahead with your tree, you follow it. Don't worry about the family and the income. It will be taken care. Yes, but that was true in itself. So one fine day, my wife is a follower of Art of Meaning, Sri Ravi Shankarji, and there was this meditation course which was happening at work somewhere, and she wanted to enroll for that course. And she told me, Niranjan, you go and enroll myself for that course and pay the fees. So I went to a senior Art of Living teacher who used to stay in our society, and I went to her. I said, Anupama, my wife wants to enroll for the meditation course. It's a 5K long course, and these are her fees. They said, "Niranjan, why aren't you doing?" So I said, I don't have money to pay for the course, meditation course, because I am unemployed for last 2 years. And so what are you saying? You had such a good career. What happened suddenly? I said, I left my job and I learned yoga, and now I am about to finish my education in yoga and searching for some employment or self-employment. They said, oh, that's a good thing. You are following a spiritual journey towards yoga and helping people in their way of life. Why don't you come and teach in our society? We have a requirement of a yoga teacher. So why don't you start your teaching from our society? And that's how the thing started. It was my first assignment as a yoga teacher. It continued for a long time. And from there, it grew like nothing. Now, the thing is, I don't have time to teach people. There are people waiting I'm literally in queue, even I teach them.
Completely echo what I just heard, because I know, I've heard about you so much from my friends who have taken yoga classes from you. So totally echo that you have mastered the practice, and hence people really flock to you. Now, given that you have spent so much time in understanding the entire scientific setup of yoga, you have learned so much about body and mind. What are the top three things that you learned that people should be aware about their wellness and the human body?
The first and the foremost thing is to keep your mind empty. So don't get attached to the work, what you do. Just do your work as a work. Shouldn't be, in yoga, it always said, the disease starts with the mind and then it percolates to the body. The stress that we gather through lifetime, the stress that we gather through our attachment, the bondings, and overachievement or ambitions that gets percolated in the body some or the other time. So keep your mind right and be aware of what is going on in the mind, what are you working for, and what do you desire in your life. Desires are the most important thing that drives your life. So the important thing, and you need to give some time to yourself. It can be called as being selfish, but you have to give your time, some time to yourself, the body and the mind. And the third thing, you do what you like. Just follow your mind. Do what you like. Like what you do. The satisfaction should be there. A dissatisfied life is not the worth living.
So emptying our mind. Remind me the second one that you mentioned.
Emptying your mind, not getting attached to the work.
Getting attached. So remove attachment, because attachment brings a lot of stress. But the third thing is prioritizing your body. So
Yes.
practicing yoga daily is suggested advice from a person like you, or people can do it, twice a week, thrice a week.
It depends upon what your inclination is. Ideally, yoga should be not a practice that has to be done for an hour in the morning or in the evening. It is a way of life to lead, not just exercise what we do on the mat for an hour. It is a way of life to live. But I would suggest at least thrice a week the yoga has to be followed, just to keep a sound health physically and mentally.
Very nice. So, Niranjan, there is a fan following about your yoga classes in Mumbai, and you do a lot of online classes for international customers as well. There should be some secret sauce that you have built over these years, which is also giving you a lot of satisfaction, but at the same time has been a good revenue generator as a career for you. What is the secret sauce? Share with our audience.
There is no secret sauce, Pamela, to mention about, but the thing is, I don't consider this as a work. I have not, pondered upon the thoughts, what is the secret thoughts or what different I am doing. I am doing nothing different. I am just doing what I like. And I don't treat that as a work. And hence I work all 7 days whenever the time is, whatever maximum I can devote. The prime, the satisfaction which I get out of the work is I want to be present in many people's life. As I want to reach as far as, much people I can reach. And have to be a part in their life to make them happy, healthy, satisfied, and they want to be a part in that. That is the aim which I am working on. Reach out more and more people. And hence I don't find, any secret mantra to work. It's just I go away, wake up in the morning, raring to meet people, raring to teach them yoga, make them happy, healthy and satisfied, and come back home, have a sound sleep. Very nice. So you do yoga with all heart and mind, and hence this has not become any source of stress for you. It's only helping you ease out stress. So I recall this, I don't know, I heard it in a movie or I read it somewhere, that if you pursue something which is really interesting for you, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like playing, Yes. So in Hindi, they say that अगर काम अच्छा लगे तो काम नहीं खेल लगने लगता है. So it is something like that, which I just heard. So Niranjan, you must be stressed even though you are enjoying what you are doing. How do you unwind? How do you relax your body? What do you do for your body on a daily basis? Nothing. I do nothing. I just, and get satisfaction or get, the relaxation by way of responses from my students. When they are happy, I feel very happy. When they are satisfied with the practices which I take from them. For example, if a few persons feel very satisfied or relieved of the stress when I take in yoga. So that is the way I live myself. Nothing apart from that. Very nice. So Niranjan, closing thoughts. If a 40-year-old like you in any city of India wants to start a yoga business, what should be the first 2-3 things they should do? Or what are your distilled pieces of advice to them to make a start to envision this as a big business? Yes. Now, the yoga has, been following for quite a long time, and a lot of people are more inclined towards yoga. A lot of awareness is generated by way of yoga, and our government also has given importance to yoga. So whenever a teacher or a person wants to pursue a career as a yoga, and not just this career, wants to teach yoga, practice yoga, live yoga, life as yoga, I must say they would gain proper knowledge first. Because it is not just an exercise, it is a way of life, it is not treating a particular disease. Just like a doctor, you go to a doctor to treat any kind of ailment. So you come to a yoga teacher to have lifetime diseases to be treated, mental stress to be taken care, anxieties to be taken care, blood pressure to be taken care. So it is a way of life, or it is a doctor's profession, I must say. So gain whatever knowledge you can. There are many avenues where you can have a proper knowledge about yoga. To get a formal education in yoga and then you start teaching yoga. Yes, that's a great piece of advice. And, that actually rings a bell in my mind. Now that you teach yoga so well to people and there is a secret sauce that you do it so well,
you must start a school for training people to be yoga teachers. That never occurred to you as an idea?
That occurred to me as an idea, but that setting up at their yoga institute or yoga school, a couple of my students have, pitched up this idea towards me, but I felt good to be with the student, to be present with the student, work with him, to cure his ailment in the body or the mind, and have a good response from him. So I like this way of teaching, rather than, teach in a crowd and make money or make it more commercial. So the human touch has to be there, I feel. So that is not there when you go in groups and you attend a class or you lecture a class.
Yes. So you find passion, or you find fun and real joy in actually doing yoga with people versus just teaching them for the sake of training them. I get your point. And it was so lovely hearing all your stories, Niranjan. True transition story. You have lived up to the spirit of this podcast, because you transitioned from a very diverse career and you're doing so well, thriving so well. It was a pleasure talking to you, and thank you so much for sparing this time to speak to me today.
Thank you, Pamela. It was a pleasure being here and answering your questions and giving a good insight.